right, Cory, are we going to survive or are we going to fade to silence? So this week we checked out Fade to Silence by Black Forest Studios. This game is a little crazy right off the start. Cool intro. This god Titan guy has kind of come down to mess with your village.
Yeah.
It's the end of days, the apocalypse is upon you. And that's kind of the premise of it. I don't want to get too into it.
Yeah,
What do you think of
it's
that?
kind of grinded out type of survival game. And really, like you said, that it starts off, it's a post-apocalyptic kind of world. And the thing with it is that there isn't a whole lot of direction either.
No, so they don't tell you explicitly exactly what to do. They kind of set up a little bit of a tutorial for you.
Yeah,
in the
just a
first
small
section,
one for sure.
Just so you get the gist of it. So you are acquiring all these things from the world, and you're trying to get them back to your camp to rebuild all the buildings. But to do that, you want to get some wood to make an axe so you can get wood faster. And certain things that are kind of along that lines. You hunt animals to get your food supplies up. And then you look at the map that it wants you to do this on while you're foraging to build your city, and the map is massive.
It's
so it
huge.
is a very big world.
It's a big world, yeah, I was surprised.
And there's a few things that kind of give that away. So when you look off into the distance, you can see this infection that this demon has left across the earth, and that's kind of what you're clearing as you go through.
Yeah, you're purging this infected area, and it would kind of clear the area for you once you kind of sorted it all out, I guess.
Yeah, maybe find some survivors. This is another cool aspect of this game. So you find these other survivors that help you build things, and you can assign them to do other tasks for you. So you don't always have to cut wood, and that's where the game kind of...
Yeah, you get these NPCs to help you out.
For me. Yeah, so you can also get things like a sled dog, so you can carry more resources with you. So it's a very progressive survival game in that aspect.
Yeah.
But then it's got this demon guy who's talking to you the whole time. That's my favorite part, because he will kind of set the field against you, too. So not only has he ruined your day and your family, but then he goes and sends blizzards on you and stuff. So you have to be prepared for these blizzards with enough resources to maybe make a house.
And that's the thing, there's these little kind of bases all around the map. As you start to clear areas, you start to find these other small refuges. They're not built up big, there's basically, it's a shack with a barrel in it for the most part.
Basically, yeah.
And the idea is that you collect enough resources to start fires at all these places. Almost, I won't call them checkpoints, but they're kind of safe havens, I'll call them, because when this blizzard rolls in, like there's enemies on the map. For the most part, you can actually avoid the enemies if you really want to.
They are really slow.
The storm is probably the worst enemy in the game that we've run into, is that this storm can take you have multiple health meters, and when that storm flies in, your guy is almost statuesque. It gets so bad.
Freezing, yeah. It doesn't matter how much health you have or how much wood you were carrying, that's almost it. You have to react to that immediately. The other coolest thing probably in that game is that giant thing, they call it the eclipse, I believe.
Yeah, in the sky?
Yeah, and it's floating around, and that thing, when it's on top of you, it starts I don't want to say too much, but it starts messing with your day, and that is a strong enemy. You only have a few amount of lives until you're out of lives, and then the game does continue, and this is the interesting part. It gives you a perk when you run out of those lives. Yeah. So, which is kind of a strange thing for me, and this is kind of where my positivity of the game gets a little shaky, because I'm not quite sure what they're doing with this perk system. You get rewarded for dying. I don't know if they were trying to do a roguelike kind of approach, where you're supposed to go through many different times, and each time kind of check a different part of the map. Yeah. So that's what I started doing when I lost these lives, because when you lose all your lives, you do reset. The world resets on you.
Yeah, and that's a real pain.
That part's a pain, because you might have found some followers and stuff. But the second time I went through, I found different followers in different areas. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's a random chance of these things happening every time you play. This kind of makes me interested, but again, I don't know if I should just throw myself into death 16 times until I have all the perks. Yeah. And then I try and do the game. It's a weird way of doing that.
It's difficult, yeah. It's kind of a thing that sets this kind of apart from other games in the genre, I guess. But you can also play co-op in this game, which I thought was really neat. And the co-op aspect is basically you play your game and you can bring someone in to play as one of these NPC characters. But the problem is that they're playing with you, they're not playing their game, so anything that they achieve while they're helping you doesn't actually transfer to their game, it's just to help you out. Yeah. So that kind of, like, there's really no point in playing co-op.
It hurts, yeah, unless they were going to do a couch co-op thing, but that's not the way it works. Yeah. So it kind of hurts the whole overall package, in my opinion. And then there's kind of the way this game looked. It's a little different. It's not quite typical of all the games that are coming out nowadays
Yeah.
with modern graphics. You get to the enemies and the characters, and some of them
The
look kind of
faces?
clunky. The faces
the
looked
faces.
almost Xbox 360.
It wasn't good.
Not good.
No, you could definitely tell where they kind of focused their efforts when it came to how this game looks. I hate to keep kind of throwing things at this, but the combat in this game, and I'm a heavy combat-based player. I like games that have a lot of really good combat. In this game, it feels so clunky. There's a targeting system that kind of works, and then the animations for the attacks are
really slow. You have like heavy and light attack. You're only ever going to use heavy attack. You hit it 3 times and it's dead. It doesn't give you XP reward for the kill.
It feels like the same thing over
or if it does, it's very minuscule. It doesn't really add up. It's nothing comparing to the perks that you get for dying. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. I'm kind of torn on this game. I think it's ready to score.
Yeah. All right. I'll jump in there. All right. Again, survival game, not totally my genre. I thought the game had some elements in it that definitely make it stand out from other games in the genre.
Definitely on
But
some cool
the
things.
thing that lost it for me, honestly, for me, was the combat. It just wasn't where I wanted it to be. And then, yeah, some of the player models were a little rough. So honestly, overall, I have to give this one a 5.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you with a 5.5. A promising story and a solid concept to this game isn't enough to shine past the mediocre combat and repetitive resource gathering.